Chapter 5, Mid-Chapter Quiz Review. So in examples 1, 2, and 3, we are writing an integer for each situation. So a gain of 6 pounds. So if you gain 6 pounds, you're adding to your weight. So that is a 6 pounds. If you want, you can put the addition sign to show that you're adding. Number 2, rising 15 degrees. So if the temperature is 70 and it rises 15 more, we're adding 15 degrees to that temperature. And number 3, 35 feet above sea level. Above tells me that's more than what it is. So again, that's plus 35 feet. For numbers 4 and 5, we have to graph each set of integers on the number line. So we have 4, -5, 1, and -3. So I start at 0. I go to my first number, which is 4. 4 is positive. Positives are to the right, so I go over 1, 2, 3, 4, and put a dot. -5 is next. -5 is less than 0, so I have to go to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I still count 5 to get to -5. 1 is positive. It's 1 step away from 0. And -3 is 3 away from 0, but it's negative, so it goes left. 1, 2, 3. So just find the numbers and put your dots on there accordingly. Number 5, we have a set of -2, 0, -4, and 3. So to find -2, I start at 0 and I go back 2. There's -2. 0. Well, 0 is always right here in your middle. -4, that's 4 away from 0, so I go 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left because my negative numbers are on the left. And my last number is 3, so it's a positive 3, so I go 1, 2, 3 to the right. When we talk about absolute value is simply how far from 0. How far is a number from 0? So when I look at number 6, absolute value of 23, how far away is 23 from 0? Well, that would be 23. So your answers are always going to be positive. Look at number 7. Absolute value of 9 minus the absolute value of -6. Well, how far away is 9 away from 0? That's going to be 9. How far is -6 away from 0? That's going to be 6. So if I have to subtract those two, what is 9 minus 6? And my answer is 3. How about number 8? Absolute value of -10 plus the absolute value of 5 minus 4. Well, absolute value of -10 is 10 spaces away from 0. Absolute value of 5 minus 4, what's 5 minus 4? That's 1. So how far away is 1 away from 0? 1. So 10 plus 1 is 11. Number 9 says Sandy is hiking up a mountaintop that is 2,347 feet above sea level. Patrick has scuba dived to 42 feet below sea level. What is the difference between these two measurements? So here's what we have. Here's sea level. Here's our mountain, At the top is 2,347 feet. We have 42 feet below sea level because that's what we're looking at. So we want to know what is the difference between the two. How far is it from the very top of that peak that he's climbed to the very bottom down here? So we have to find the absolute value of 2,347 plus we have to add 42 feet, right? So absolute value of 42. So the absolute value of 2,347 is 2,347 plus the absolute value of 42, which is 42. So when I add those two numbers together, 2 plus 7 is 9, 4 plus 4 is 8, 3 plus 0 is 3, 2 plus 0 is 2. That is 2,389 feet. Even though it says difference, add those two together. Ten through 13, we have to compare each of those two numbers. So we have to put a less than, greater than, or equal to sign to make that true. So we have -5 and 0. Think about which one is furthest, which one's smallest, which one is furthest to the left. Well, -5 is less than 0 because 0 is larger. It's more to the right. How about 1 and -2? Well, I know 1 is a positive number. All positive numbers are greater than negative. So 1 is greater than -2. Number 12, we have 4 and -7. Again, that same rule, positive numbers are greater than negative numbers. So 4 is greater than -7. So we have -27 and -22. When comparing two negative numbers, think about which is closer to 0. Is 27 closer to 0 or is 22 closer to 0? Closer to 0 would be 22. So 22 is greater than. So -27 is less than -22. So number 14, 15, and 16, we have to put these numbers in order, integers in order, from least to greatest, smallest to largest. So let's look at our negative numbers first. So number 14, we have -9 and -12. If we think about our rule that we just talked about, when comparing two negative numbers, think which one is closest to 0. So 9 is closer to 0 than -12. So -12 would be the smallest number. Then it would be -9. I always work with the negatives first. Now I look at my positive numbers. Which one is closest to 0? Well, that's 6. So that's my next smallest number. Of 8 and 9, which one's closer to 0? That would be 8 and then 9. Number 15, same thing. Look at your negative numbers first. -21 and -13. Which one is closest to 0? -13. So that means that -21 is the smallest number. Then it's -13. So then when we look at our positive numbers, which one's closest to 0 is going to be the smaller number, which is 9. Of 26 and 34, which one's smallest? 26. and then 38. And the last one, again, we look at our negative numbers. Which of those three negative numbers is closest to 0? 61, 124, or 51? Negative 51 is closest to 0. Oops, I got to go back. So that means it's the largest. So the one that's furthest away is negative 124, then negative 61, and negative 51. Then look at the larger numbers. 67 is closest to 0. Then it's 82, then 123. Don't forget your extra practice. Go to Clever, Connect Ed, go to the lesson resources page, it's on the right, and click until you see your red check mark, which is your self-check. It's a 5-question quiz that'll help you with reviewing for your quiz.